This video will contain major spoilers from the movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So, if anyone has not yet had the chance to watch it yet, I would suggest that you watch the movie first and then come back to this video. And for those who have seen the movie, this video is for you, and we are going to dive deep and analyze the cliffhanger ending that has left many of us questioning as to the future of the franchise. Before starting, I quickly want to make a simple request. Talking about comic book movies, games and TV shows is my passion. If you want me to keep doing this, I want a small favor from you. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me. So, without any further delay, let's get started. First of all, the movie begins on Earth 616, where the main spider-related superhero running around in New York City is not Peter Parker but a girl named Gwen Stacy. She is known as Spider-Gwen, as you may already know. She protects the city just like Spider-Man does with her powers, which she received from getting bit by a radioactive spider. The Peter Parker of this universe is basically who you would imagine Peter Parker would be if he was never bit by the spider. He is just a regular nerdy innocent teenager who gets bullied by his friends at school. Due to the constant bullying and insult by his classmates, Peter decides to make a serum which would make him stronger and more powerful. He consumes the serum, which actually did make him powerful, but unfortunately its side effects also gave him the appearance of a giant lizard. He then starts to wreak havoc in school and tries to take revenge against his bullies. He ultimately comes face to face with Gwen Stacy. They start fighting, which ultimately leads to his death. As he was dying, he got transformed back to his original form, and Spider-Gwen realized that the lizard was basically none other than her friend Peter Parker. She is then chased by the cops of the city, including her father, who was captain of the police department. She ultimately confesses to her father that she is Gwen Stacy, his own daughter, who did not have any intention to kill her friend Peter. She says that it was just an accident. However, her father still remains determined to arrest her. After this, she comes in contact with a couple of other spider-powered people from other universes while fighting the Vulture, who is also from another universe. If you remember, during the events of the last movie, when Miles Morales destroys the Super Collider, several portals open up across the multiverse. This is how this Vulture entered into this universe. After defeating the Vulture, the group of spider people, including Spider-Woman and Miguel O'Hara aka Spider-Man 2099, escorts her to a portal. I will talk more about this later. Now coming back to Gwen Stacy, she agrees to travel with them because she knows that staying in her own universe is of no use now, because she would get arrested by her own father. Now, the next big character in the movie is called the Spot, whose real name is Dr. Jonathan Owen. He is from Earth 1610, the same universe as that of Miles Morales. He is basically a scientist who worked on the Super Collider. During the events of the last movie, when Miles destroyed the Super Collider, Dr. Jonathan got in contact with the radiations from the collider, which transformed his skin into a large canvas of portals through which he could travel to any universe he wanted. This also made him turn to a life of crime because people were scared of his appearance and he was isolated socially. The Spot slowly comes to realize that he can become more powerful if he comes in contact with more such colliders, which can eventually make him an unstoppable multiversal force. Now, our focus shifts to Spider 2099 again. After the events of the last movie and the threat posed by the Spot, he decides to make a council of Spider-Man from different universes. The main purpose of this council is to maintain the safety of the multiverse by protecting the canon events. Now, what actually are canon events? These are those events which are inevitable and are meant to happen. They are the linking points between the different universes spread across the bigger multiverse. If one of these events are prevented from happening, the whole multiverse is affected. Think of it like the pillars of a bridge. If one pillar breaks down, there is no use of the whole bridge. This council is collectively called the Spider Society, who works inside a very high-tech structure called the Spider Society headquarters. As I already mentioned, the Spot is moving from one universe to the other using his powers, in his quest to acquire more power from other colliders across the multiverse. As a result, he is seen as a huge threat by the Spider Society. So as part of the mission to stop the Spot, Gwen is sent into Earth 1610, the universe of Miles Morales. Along with her primary job of catching the Spot, who was speculated by the Spider Society to be present somewhere in this universe, she also checks on Miles Morales and starts hanging out with him. As a result, she loses focus and the Spot escapes into a different universe and lands into a city in India called Mumbai. Spider-Gwen immediately leaves Earth 1610 and follows the Spot into Mumbai. Miles secretly follows Gwen into the portal where they are greeted by two other Spider-Men. One is Pavitra Prabhakar, the Indian Spider-Man of this universe, and Spider-Punk, who belongs from Earth 138 where Norman Osborn is President of the United States. He basically is a kind of punk rock teenager who leads a movement opposing the policies of the president. Now, coming back to the main plot, all the four Spider-Man unite and try to stop the Spot from coming in contact with the Collider. But once again, they fail, and he escapes. Now, during the process, Miles Morales accidentally happens to stop a canon event from happening. During the event of the Collider destruction, several buildings started to collapse, which was supposed to kill Inspector Singh, father of Pavitra Prabhakar's girlfriend. However, Miles saves Mr. Singh even after Gwen Stacy warning him not to do so, and ultimately disturbs the entire fabric of the multiverse. As a result, he is taken to the Spider Society headquarters where he comes face to face with Spider-Man 2099. He explains to Miles about the entire multiverse fabric and the canon events. In the process, Miles learns that the death of his father, which is predicted to happen within the next 2 days, is also a canon event which he was not supposed to stop. However, Miles becomes furious upon hearing this and immediately tries to escape. Spider-Man 2099 along with several other spider creature follows Miles Morales. During their chase, Spider-Man 2099 reveals to him that Miles himself is the original anomaly. He further states that Miles was never supposed to become Spider-Man. Well, to explain this, we need to go back to the last movie. Dr. Jonathan aka The Spot, while working on the Super Collider, on one occasion he accidentally pulled in a radioactive spider from Earth 42 which later went on to bite Miles Morales. This spider was supposed to bite Miles Morales from Earth 42. This caused a change in the canon event of Earth 42 which affected the whole multiversal fabric. This ultimately led to the death of Peter Parker in his own universe and left Earth 42 with no Spider-Man of their own to protect them. Let me explain to you in a bit more detail. Since there was already a Spider-Man in Earth 1610, there was no need of another Spider-Man in Miles Morales. So, to balance out the two events, the original Spider-Man Peter Parker had to die saving Miles Morales in this universe. Miles learns that this was also known to two other people other than Miguel himself. One is Peter Benjamin Parker, the middle-aged Peter Parker from the last movie. The other is none other than Gwen Stacy. However, even after listening to all this, Miles remains resilient and somehow manages to escape and return back to the headquarters where he gets on board a machine. This machine is actually an interdimensional teleporter which could teleport people back to their own universe by reading the DNA pattern of the person inside. So, Miles escapes from there, which makes Miguel furious. Out of anger, he fires Gwen Stacy from the Spider Society and teleports her back to her own universe. Now, we see that Miles gets transported to a universe where there already is a Miles Morales and his father is dead. Instead, his uncle is alive and well. We see that Miles Morales of this universe is none other than the Prowler. So, Miles and his uncle Aaron are basically criminals. So, how did this happen? Well, it is pretty simple. Since his father died, there was no one to guide Miles to do anything good in life. The death of his father made Miles suffer from grief. This made him follow his uncle into a life of crime, ultimately becoming the Prowler. Coming back to the main story, the original Miles Morales, after realizing this, checks his teleportation device, which showed that he was on Earth 42. This is because the radioactive spider from Earth 42 that eventually bit him changed his whole DNA pattern. As a result, the interdimensional teleprompter sends Miles to Earth 42. Now, again we shift our focus back to Gwen Stacy, where she goes back to her home and meets her dad. Her dad reveals to Gwen that he no longer intends to arrest her because he realized that she just wanted to help people by being a superhero. He also reveals that he has retired from his job and is no longer a captain. At that moment, a plan suddenly strikes her mind. She wonders, what if there is another way to protect the canon event. The canon event says that Captain Stacy has to die. But her father is now no longer captain. Well, I guess we will get to know more about it in the next movie. Before the movie ends, we see that Gwen Stacy still has a teleportation device with her, which was given by Spider-Punk. Miguel sends her back to her own universe. Using that device, she travels to Miles's universe, Earth 1610, where she finds out that Miles never returned home. Ultimately, she decides that she has to rescue Miles from wherever he might be stuck. She recruits different Spider-Men from across the multiverse, which included Peter Benjamin Parker, Spider-Noir, Penny Parker, Spider-Ham, Pavitra Prabhakar, Hobie, and Spider-Bite. This is where the movie ends, and we will get to know what happens next with Miles Morales in the next movie, which is called Beyond the Spider-Verse. Lastly, there is one thing that I would like to address. While Miles Morales was exploring the Spider Society headquarters, we saw shots of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. We even saw the cameo of the MCU version of the Prowler. Earlier in the movie, we also got a brief cameo from that old shopkeeper lady from the Venom movies. We even got a brief mention of Doctor Strange referring to the events of No Way Home. So, this clearly shows that everything is connected across the larger Spider-Verse. This gives us more hopes of a Sony-Marvel crossover project in the near future. Personally, I would love to see Tom Hardy's Venom face off Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. So that is all for this video. What do you think will happen in the next movie? And how much did you enjoy this movie? Please reply in the comments section. And before leaving, I just want to remind you to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.